One of the verses that has been kind of a theme for us over actually a story in Scripture that's been a theme for us for the last 7 years has been the story that I'm about to share. And I think a lot of times we put our attention on our unbelief. Does anybody else do that? And I think that we believe sometimes that the Lord looks at our unbelief more than he looks at our belief. Remember when Jesus said, he said, you just got to have a little bit of faith. He said, if you just have a faith the size of a mustard seed, if I was to hold a mustard seed up here, I have some in my office. If I was to hold one, you wouldn't even be able to see it where you're sitting. You wouldn't even, Jesus is saying if you have faith that nobody else can even see, you can move mountains. And so he's not as consumed with your unbelief as you are. This story in Mark chapter 9, it moves my heart as a father. It's Mark chapter 9. And there's all this arguing, the religious people, the disciples, Jesus is there, they're arguing. And Jesus asks, he said, what is all this arguing about? Why are you guys debating? And one of the men in the crowd spoke up and said, Teacher, I brought my son so you could heal him. He's possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk. And whenever the spirit seizes him, it throws him violently to the ground. He foams at the mouth and he grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast out the evil spirit, but they couldn't do it. Jesus said, you faithless people. Now get this. How long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me. And Jesus didn't wash his hands. And, all right, that's it. Shop closed. No. Shop open. I'll take care of it. So they brought the boy. But when the evil spirit saw Jesus, it threw the child into a violent convulsion, and he fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Verse 21, Jesus says, how long has this been happening? The father said, since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into a fire or into water trying to kill him. I want you to put yourself in the position of this dad. Your child that you love is suffering. He's tormented. He's trying to kill himself. And this guy shows up. He's like, Jesus, I'm desperate. You've got to do something or my boy's going to die. I think about my boys. I think about Uriah. I think about Judah. What if they were suffering like this? And I've gone to other people. People have prayed over him. Right? We brought him to church, took him to counseling sessions, done everything we could to get the demons out of this boy. And he asked Jesus this question, have mercy on us. I've heard that you heal people. I heard that you touch people like my boy. Would you have mercy on us and help us if you can? Would you, Jesus? Could you? And I love Jesus' response. What do you mean, if I can? What do you mean, if I can? Anything is possible if a person believes. Anything. The father instantly cried out, I do believe. I believe, Lord, but help me overcome my unbelief. That's me a lot of times, man. I believe, but sometimes I don't believe. Like in a moment like this, I'm like, yes, I believe. A little bit later, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure, Lord. When we, and obviously Jesus rebukes the demon leaves the boys healed. Awesome. Love this story. 7 years ago, about this time, I was mowing our front yard. We were living in Amarillo, Texas, and we felt like God was calling us to be pastors, but did not want to plant a church. We did not want to do that. Why? Because of our unbelief. That's why, I'll be honest. I believed that we could pastor, but I didn't have the belief that we could plant. And I'm mowing the grass, and I know that the Lord is telling us to plant the church. For some reason, God always speaks to me when I'm mowing the grass. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't have a screen in front of me. And I'm mowing the grass, and I say, Lord, just like this man, I believe, but you got to help my unbelief. Also doubt, Lord. And I love that the Lord takes that seed faith. I believe. Just a little bit. And you know what God did? Let me tell you what he didn't do. He didn't rebuke me, tell me you have little faith, make me sick so he could test my faith and grow my faith. None of that happened. Instead, he said, let me help your unbelief. And for the next 3 months, we entered a season to where our house sold in 24 hours. We got a job offer. I mean, we had like 3 people tell us the exact same thing about the vision that we had in our heart for the church. I mean, it was moment after moment after moment after moment after moment of God helping our unbelief. What's the point? The point is, it doesn't matter how much unbelief you have if you're vulnerable with the Lord about it. If you just be real, I wasn't like mowing the grass and be like, I believe that I'm the head, not the tail. I'll just speak the word of faith. No, it wasn't any of that. It was like, Lord, I believe a little. And so months later, after we get all these words, we put our house, we're loading up the truck, we're about to move out here, and I'm mowing the grass again. And some of you have heard this story. And I'm mowing the grass. The last time I'm mowing the grass, I kind of like mowing the grass. I'm weird. At least I did it that season of my life. And I'm mowing the grass, and I said, Lord, I'm sorry for my unbelief. And the Lord said, son, that was the moment when you took your faith off of yourself and you placed it on me. It's whenever you said, no, God, I can't. And he said, good. That's exactly where I want you to be. Dependent. Dependent. Nothing is impossible. Some of you are going through something way more real and difficult than that. But if you just believe the Lord a little bit, you can move mountains. You got to get that praise before you break through. You got to declare what you do know. Praise precedes the victory every single time, beloved. Every single time. We don't celebrate just after it happens. We celebrate it before we see it. And Beloved, you've got to learn to set your affections and your attention on the Lord. You've got to stop seeing your situation and your scenario and being overwhelmed on what's around you and what people will think and what if I fail, and just start saying, you know what, God, all that I have is this little inkling of my heart of what you said, and I'm going to obey what you said. I'm not going to be moved by the circumstances in this situation. I'm going to trust your word. Will you stand with me today? Some of you didn't respond earlier. You didn't respond because you thought God won't do it today. You thought that. But I'm telling you, I believe that he'll answer that little bit of faith you have today.